What are you doing over here, Ryan? You're on the wrong side.
Yeah, y'all finally let me out behind the camera.
That's right. We've got producer Alyssa on staff today. Alyssa, come get in front of the camera, give a bow. I'm just kidding. She doesn't want to do that. She doesn't want a microphone. I get it.
Yeah.
She doesn't have time for our nonsense. I'm surprised she's here doing it. To be honest,
Same.
She's always very willing to help with stuff, but I felt like this would have just crossed over the meter of 2 hours of listening to you guys. Like I get enough of that at work all day.
She is never going to do this again. This is our only time of being able to do this.
No, when the idea first got brought up of me being on, I'm like, okay, so we might need to get Tyler out here or get Hazi or just somebody else on staff. But Alyssa was the last person I thought to.
Well, what a trooper.
Yeah.
Thanks, Alyssa. We do appreciate you allowing us to have Ryan on, and now we don't have to listen to Hazi. So it's a win for everybody.
A win-win.
Yeah, it is a win for everybody.
Is this episode 26?
Yep.
Yeah, I guess it would be. Technically, this is our 1 year episode.
Yeah.
Can you believe it?
Full year.
Full year. It's weird getting memory posts on social media about posts we did a year ago because we're obviously a little bit behind because we've had to take weeks off and whatever. But with that being said, I think it's a good segue to not introduce, but to show the face of, if you've never seen, of our beautiful producer over here.
Mr. Ryan Brantley.
Mr. Ryan Brantley, normally operating the camera, is our 1 year guest, which seemed like a good time to have him. We wanted to kind of do something special, considering it was that still blows my mind that it's been a year.
Yeah. It's
That's crazy.
It feels right too. It's been the three of us since the beginning.
That's right.
For 26 episodes, which is 52 hours worth of podcasts, which is a lot of podcast time.
Yeah.
That's a lot of us.
A lot of us.
But
Not very much me. I'm not typically one to talk a lot on these.
I feel like you're starting to come out of your shell, though.
I appreciate that. I've been working on it.
I mean, I was looking at the analytics, and it has 32 hours of Thomas talking.
Honestly, that would be a fair. I mean, not fair, but that would be probably an accurate. You don't actually have that analytic, do you?
I don't know.
Well, I believe it.
There's stuff that can track that kind of thing these days.
32, that's not like a crazy amount.
Yeah.
Wait, 32 of 52, that's a good majority.
32, that means, well, yeah, plus the guest. That leaves me with 15.
Yeah, if you're lucky. And you should be happy with that.
Maybe.
But as it kind of continue to talk about Ryan here, so Ryan has been doing this the whole time. He's been a trooper, not just in the setup and breakdown and the filming and the going wherever we want to do it and listening to us yap for 52 hours now. He also runs the social media and the marketing platform stuff that we do for Try It and Define. Obviously kills it on that. You guys see his content regularly. It's probably you see his content more than you probably see us.
Mm-hmm.
More than you see anything else. So
Try It and Define. It's posting most days of the week. Where I post 2-3 times a week. So yeah, you're seeing his content more than mine. That's for sure.
Yeah. So welcome to this side. We're excited to have it and hear from you. We get to hear tidbits from you. We get our little grumpy Ryan anecdotes from time to time. And now we have a whole episode of Grumpy Ryan.
Yeah, it's going to be an amazing time.
That's good. That's the most excited Ryan's ever sounded for anything. That was incredible.
Because Thomas and I were talking about just between the two of us about having you on for the or making you the guest for the 1 year episode, and I texted him after I asked you that I got the most excited sure out of Ryan I've ever got whenever you agreed to be on the podcast.
Pretty big.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah,
sounds about right.
It's pretty big. He said, "Sure."
Which is
holy shit.
Really quick, 1 year though, man. I remember I heard from a couple of different people, and some directly and some indirectly, about how many, obviously there's how many thousands of podcasts that the average one doesn't make it to something like 4 or 5 episodes typically. But I would say Ryan is definitely a big part of us being able to get to where we're at and make it a whole year
For sure.
with recording regularly, getting better at what we do, because it allows us to focus on, the guests that we're having on and how we're talking. Like, I know even especially in the first episode, you and I both listened to it and kind of gave notes to each other, where we could focus on that. And the only reason we can is because he's the one making sure the camera, the recording, and everything else, all the other details are taken care of.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I don't know what any of these doohickeys are underneath this table.
I just make sure I don't accidentally kick it or touch it.
We got lots of doohickeys and
Thingamajigs.
Yeah, we got all sorts of stuff.
Gadgets, gizmos.
Ooh, that does look like that is a gizmo for sure.
Don't touch that one.
I don't.
That's an important gizmo.
I barely even break down the set once we finish. Isn't that right, Brian?
Is that more because I told you wrapped chords wrong, or because you're scared of it?
A little bit of both. I'm a little scared of you. Ryan, I think this is an interesting thing though. I'm excited for this episode. What has the perspective of the person producing it, like to kind of also double down on what Kevin's saying is like, aside from all of that, the like editing and putting together and, all the research that went into all of this stuff. And, you're somebody who like, we're always improving. You're always adding things to it. You're always like, hey, we're going to start doing this. We're going to, change the opening thing. It's always cool stuff. And so it's always improvements. And so that's always really appreciated. 'Cause again, that's stuff that like, because we don't have to think about that, like we kind of get to just focus on this stuff where like, I don't know if we would have gotten this far. Definitely not without you. So we definitely appreciate you a ton. What is the perspective of the person who, normally sits there? What has your experience like been over the last year?
It's definitely been pretty interesting. I mean, I think I had mentioned at once to Kevin, it's like, hey, if we ever want to do a podcast, like that's something I'd be interested in, like helping produce. And it kind of just like nothing came of it. Mm-hmm. And then I think it was Preston or somebody mentioned podcast, or it might have been you. And Kevin's like, one day he's like, so we've been running this idea of like a podcast. And I'm like, cool, say no more.
Yeah. Did
all the research and all that. And to be able to see it come from just like an idea in a text thread to here's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, I went into it with nothing. And so to be able to see what it's become and become 26 episodes has been pretty cool to see it grow and everything like that.
Well, that's pretty much so much of your job today is all stuff that you weren't previously familiar with. And we had a need or want to improve in one area or dive into another area, all within the media and marketing space. And I know we've talked about this on other episodes a ton, but is your willingness to just dive right in, watch tutorials, look up as much as you can and learn about it. Like one of the more recent, I think, brand new projects that you jumped into was web design, and you completely overhauled the Define Nutrition website, which was last done 4 years ago, and looked good at the time, but had just kind of fallen out of date a little bit. Things weren't updated, and some things were just kind of clunky they got clunky over time. So doing a complete overhaul was definitely needed at the time. But you went into it with, I mean, from my knowledge, pretty much no experience, right?
Not really. Yeah, just always interested in learning new things. And I think I'd mentioned to you previously, it's like I enjoy when every week's different. And so being able to learn new things and change up what my day-to-day looks like has always been helpful. And so having something like the podcast come around at the time was a big change because it was completely outside of anything I had done at that point. And so back to like web design and stuff like that, it's like I was able to take stuff I've learned in the past and then learn these new things with how the whole website works and be able to put that all together. So, yeah.
You got that right, like a blend of curiosity, and like you're a clever guy, like you're a smart guy. And so I think like when you get unique tasks like this, it's cool to see you kind of run with them, because it seems like it's something that genuinely interests you, and like you said, just getting to learn and doing something new and just kind of like putting some effort into it. And I think it's cool to see like what comes out on the other side, because like you're always producing good stuff, because like we talked about again, like on the podcast before, it's like you were working in a warehouse, doing like more like, if I'm not wrong, like more management kind of stuff, and now it's like, oh well, now we're doing this, and it's like now we're doing web design, and now you're kind of our tech guy, and when it comes to all the pictures, and I mean you name it anymore.
Mm-hmm. It's cool we're getting to a point too that he's got a little bit of a team that's building up now too, and some people that are helping out with some different areas, because that's the media side of things. If we grow to be the size that we want, the need for work within media is going to be just enormous, and to give people some opportunities now to kind of get their foot in the door with it is huge. So like Hasi helps out a lot with, he takes all the triad comments, the messages, handles a lot of the social media. He runs the TikTok page and is even starting to put together some more original videos as on top of sharing some of our stuff from Instagram over there. I know he helps out with the new products that we're bringing into the store. Working with Tyler, and he's got a lot of video editing skills, so bringing him in on projects whenever we can. So it's turning into not just him. He's kind of building a team around him a little bit. So kind of getting back into management a little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
How do you like your team?
Yeah, I can't complain.
That surprises me. They're very different from you.
Yeah, they are.
Hasi and Tyler.
Yeah, like Hasi and Tyler and Ryan are like very different people.
Not a team that you would have put together.
Nope.
In your head. That's for sure.
I think it does help with like kind of the media based stuff. We never have to always be around each other. So
yes. My favorite part of Tyler is when I'm not around him.
No, it's like I enjoy going and catching up with them and kind of seeing what's new with their lives and checking on kind of the projects that they're working on and stuff. But when we are interacting, it's a lot of just like checking up, see how everything's going. Yeah.
Focused on work.
Yeah. And then it's being able to give them tasks and stuff that like, hey, here's something we would like to see. Is that something you think you could do? Mm-hmm. And then I'm able to go back and do my own thing and work on my projects and stuff. And so we all kind of got our own projects we're all working on, but they're all toward the main goal.
Well, I think it's nice too. Like, I think an underestimated thing when it comes to teams or anything in general, and I even look at like the UConn team, because I was just having a conversation with Kaylin about this, is like you guys like on that team, like the marketing team that we have, or even UConn, is it's like we have players that yin and yang each other really well. Like it's different perspectives, Like I was explaining to Kaylin the other day that her and Will are two sides of the same coin. Like I almost have just opposite worries and, aspirations for both of them, where it's like they both fall into the same thing, they just go in different directions on it. And so what's nice about that though is like, you want that. I don't want, just like you wouldn't want 3 U's on the same, marketing team. You guys would agree with each other on everything, but everything would look identical. And so having different people with different perspectives and different looks at things and styles and whatever, I think that adds a dimension that will be, obviously I think it already is. I think it's for the best already. And you can kind of like take parts of it. And I've heard you talk to, it might have been Tyler, I'm not sure, but it was like, there was like a video project, and it was like, hey, like get this more to the triad base model of like what we're doing with this, but like still having bits of his flair in there kind of add something new. It adds another flavor onto what we're kind of doing. And I think those things are really important long term for us staying fresh in different perspectives, especially having young ones like them too, where it's kind of like they're a little bit maybe it's easier for them or more natural for them to be what's right now, and then they'll get old like the rest of us.
I feel like the young people at Triad that were young when they first came on are now starting to fall more into the old guys group.
Yeah.
As the newer, younger people start to come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is still kind of weird to think of I'm in the older crowd.
You are.
I don't know if I've
This
ever
job
actually
will
properly
age
thought
you.
about it.
What'd you say?
I said this job will age you
Oh, yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're one of the old hats now.
Yeah, I think outside of Anthony, I think he'd be y'all three and then Anthony. Myself.
Yeah, well, and just like literally the oldest. Like, because
Yeah.
how old are you?
26.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
27
ancient for our staff.
27 in like 2 weeks. So
Yeah. I'm the oldest, right? 32?
I think so.
Yeah, I'm the oldest. I thought so. It's okay.
We all are always aware of that.
Yeah, oh, I'm sure.
It's very apparent anywhere we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely. What the yeet are you talking about, dude? That's not Gucci.
no cap, you are the oldest.
Dang, dude.
Will's,
Dead ass?
Will's going to love this episode.
Bro. All right, I need to start drinking.
Yep. So we'll let Thomas pour this time. He is actually the one that bought this bottle for me several years ago. I can't remember for what though.
Opening store too.
Opening store 2. That's right. Yeah, because I came into Norman and you had it, and it was like one of our first days open.
Yeah.
Working. Is it Glen Morangy?
Glenmorangie. Glenmorangie.
I've heard Glen Morange.
Nope. Nope. Whoever that was, it hit them.
I'm not going to call him out.
There's a YouTube video of a Scottish guy who goes through and just like literally gives the correct pronunciation of all the main brands.
Nice.
He says Glenmorangie.
So we are kind of saying it wrong.
I don't know. He says it weird.
You pouring or am I pouring?
You're closer.
Okay.
We got ice and actual glasses this time, so we're not drinking out of solo cups.
It took a year.
Solo cups and neat. Although it's kind of given me an aspect. I don't drink a lot of whiskey neat, and so this has kind of given me an opportunity to do it more often. I definitely still prefer it on the rocks, but I don't mind. I don't mind it as much anymore neat. Ryan?
I'm going to have to pass.
Dang. First sip of alcohol didn't want to be an 18-year-old scotch?
That is still crazy to me. You've never had even just a single sip of alcohol, right?
Nope.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What a loser. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. But yeah, well, do you have anything to drink?
I don't.
You want to get a Coke or something?
I'm okay.
All right. Well, Kevin and I are going to do a cheers, I guess. You can just sit there if you want.
Happy 1 year.
Hey.
Clink.
What a weirdo.
If I drink water, then I'm going to have to pee, and I don't want to be the one to stop the episode.
Forget how good this is. I haven't had this in a minute.
That is good. Is there some floral notes in there?
A little bit. I like because it's got the hint of peat to it, but it's not anything crazy. Kind of on the back end.
No, you're right though. Anytime we have beer instead of like a whiskey or a tequila, I end up having a pee before the episode's over.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
more
that makes
liquid.
sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
So it works well when we have just some liquor.
It is. I wonder what the ratio is, and Ryan, you might know as well. I wonder what the ratio of like drink with us to not drink with us has been.
I think there's only been one person to drink with y'all. Or no. Has anyone drank with y'all?
Kenny drank with us.
Kind of.
Trace drank with us.
Trace did drink
Trace
with
was
us.
the first proper person to actually drink.
Didn't he bring his own core banquets?
Yeah. Attaboy. Who understands what the assignment was?
Yeah.
You know?
And Marcus had a drink with us.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, y'all were on a cold streak to start the
Yeah, we definitely were.
podcast off.
We were on a hot streak of drinking on the podcast, though. We definitely drink way less than we used to on the first few episodes. I think because we were like a little nervous and wanting to get a little bit more loose, but it would be like, and we're at your house, I think also plays a role too. And it'd be like 4 or 5 whiskeys deep.
Y'all finished off a few bottles too.
Yeah.
That Stag Junior on the first episode, we were both like on the verge of being drunk.
Yeah, for sure. Those are like, I got to hang out for a few hours afterwards, just kind of collect myself.
All our 3 viewers are like, bring back drunk Kevin and Thomas. Those
Hell
episodes
yeah.
were better.
Yeah, probably. I wonder, do you feel like as somebody who consistently, I feel like listens more so than anybody, I guess, technically, Ryan is our number one viewer.
He technically is. I don't know. AJ listens to our episodes sometimes a couple of times.
That's true.
Yeah.
AJ is the winner.
But he always listens live and listens again.
Yeah, so he's got 2 on.
Who said I listened again?
No, you scrub through it, right? But
not.
you
Barely.
don't listen. Yeah, you don't
Yeah,
listen to the whole thing.
Say Premiere
Okay,
does
yeah.
all the auto lineup for me now, so I don't have to really listen to it much.
He just takes down notes on like if we ever need something cut.
Yep.
Barely pays attention when we're even live.
Honestly, he's usually playing.
8-ball pool.
Yeah. It is funny when we're like, we'll be in conversation and I'll look up and Ryan's just got his phone like sideways and he's like, you could tell he's like lining up a shot. I'm like, all right, Ryan's in on something. Do you feel like the podcast has, and obviously it has in ways, but do you feel like the podcast has changed over the year?
Maybe a little bit. I think because I listen to it episode to episode live, or because I'm here.
Yeah.
I don't know if I notice it.
Yeah, it's like hair grown kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I bet if I was to go back and listen to the first episode and compare it to this last one,
Yeah.
I would notice it,
Yeah.
but I don't think I would be able to tell you what's different between first episode and
Yeah.
now.
What about you, Kevin? What do you feel like it's changed over the last year?
I feel like I'm more conscious about what we're talking about how I'm talking. It doesn't feel like there's that big of a difference, but I bet if I listened to the first episode, I would cringe a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't listen to these episodes. No, I'm curious. I wondered like if the topic has changed quite a bit. I know like especially our first couple of ones, like I think we were pushing ourselves in like different directions, where I feel like we almost the conversation is just definitely more just kind of whatever now. Mm-hmm. Which is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say y'all went into the first ones with a little bit more of a structure. Mm-hmm. Especially compared to now. It's like I had an idea what might have been talked about on the first few episodes.
Yeah.
Now I have no clue. It's just like click record and let's see what we get.
Where this mess ends
Yeah.
up.
We had to have at least, I think we went in with like general structure and then kind of just went with it like a fallback plan.
Yeah.
But I think it was probably around the time UConn was getting opening and we were just all worn out. So we went in, we're just like
It's all uphill after that.
That's
Like,
that,
like
yeah.
we've got to be better than those episodes.
you were drinking a lot in those episodes.
No, it isn't. I feel like I think I guess what I'm getting to for myself was I think I thought about things to talk about. Like I'd be like, "Ooh, I'm going to bring this up on the podcast," you know. And now it's just like Kaylin threw a pen at me and it stuck in my leg. Like, that's what I bring up on the podcast. Like, and then she's like, "Everybody's going to hate me because I stabbed you." Well, don't stab me.
No, I feel like I've started to get better about remembering all the hundreds or not thousands of random little crazy stories that have happened over the last 8 years, and kind of using little things to jog my memory and tell little stories and kind of go on topics that I didn't expect to necessarily go on. So
I've got one. I've got a jeer that I'm giving out.
let's hear it.
I'm not gonna
There's
name,
probably a couple.
I'm not
at
gonna,
least.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to name. You've heard this story already, but I'm not going to name anybody. Well, I don't know their names, but I'm not going to name where they're from. But I had an interaction as Triad, like as a business, with another business, and it was one of the most, like, in a cordial conversation, one of the most like condescending situations I think I've ever been a part of. And I get it, and it's not like a woe is me thing. I think there is a lesson in here that I think is valuable. So I was talking to a couple of people from a different business. It's not a completely different business, but not like a supplement industry, like
Not a direct competitor.
definitely not but not even somebody I would even think to as a competitor.
Right.
You know what I mean? And and they asked, who we were. and kind of like what business we were with. And I was like, oh, we're with Triad. And the person, the lady, I'll say lady, there's two ladies. And the lady was like, oh, oh, you guys must be new. I've never heard of you. And I was like, oh, actually, this is, we're almost around for a full 8 years, like this November we'll start our 9th year. I believe that's correct. Yeah. We'll start our 9th year. And she was like, oh, well, where are you located? And I was like, oh, we've got 3 locations. We've got one by the Quail Springs Mall. We've got one down in Norman. And then our newest one is the Yukon location. She was like, oh, so you guys are in the mall. And I was like, well, no, we're not in the mall, We're kind of over off of May. We're over, do you know where like Cafe 7 is? And she's like, yeah, I'm over there all the time. And I'm like, okay, well, like we're in that shopping center. And she's like, where? And I'm like, well, like, do you know where Cool Greens used to be? And she's like, oh, you're in the old Cool Green spot? And I'm like, no, like we're in the corner though, kind of if you kind of cut the half between, Cafe 7 and Cool Greens. And she was like, oh, well, I don't know. I guess I've just never seen or heard of you guys. And I was like, okay, like that's fine. And her other person was like, oh, you guys do body scans there? And I'm like, yeah, we sure do. And she's like, how much do you charge for it? And we were like, oh, like we don't actually charge for the body scans. Like it's just something that we do as a free service for our customers. And then the first lady goes, oh, so you guys just do free body scans? Is that like your whole thing? And I'm like,
for free?
The super viable business model there, obviously. And I was like, no, okay, like. And again, like I don't know who this person is, and they obviously don't know. They don't know us. They don't know us from Adam, and like that, we try to do things, and they obviously had an opinion of supplement stores and probably the supplement industry in general,
Sure.
and was easily applying that to us. But holy cannoli, was it like just condescending comment after condescending comment. And I think, like, just to continue the story, I guess. So I was like, no, like we have a whole bunch of different supplements, like at all of our locations. And she was like, oh, so you guys just like make your own thing, and then that's like all you have. And I'm like, no,
Again, no.
like, no, not quite. I think we have, close to 100 brands represented in the store, like, upwards of 2,000 items in each one of our locations. Like, it's a very diverse group of things. Obviously we have like pre-workout and protein, but we also have, like vitamins and, just general health, women's health, like kind of whatever, we have all sorts of stuff. And she's like, oh, I see nutrition is, on your shirt there. Is that just referring to the supplements? And I was like, no, like we also, everybody that works for us is NASM certified nutrition coaches. And we give we can just, if you don't know the difference between a carb and a protein, we'll break that down for you. General knowledge just to kind of like help people along and kind of, sometimes overgeneralized, but rules of thumb, like things to kind of look to, things to be avoiding, whatever. And she goes, oh, well, if they ever need real help, you can send them to us. And I was like, okay. Okay.
Yeah, after this
and her name tag says NASM CNC.
So the same thing.
Literally. And I was like, okay. And she goes, but we do it for free, so they can only come once a month. And I was like, okie dokie. And I think like my point is this is somebody who like we've never directly associated with or like done anything with. But at times, they would carry a more obscure line of products than like we would. And like, again, not trying to put anybody on blast, but it is like, I think it's an important lesson of like when you're in business, how even a base level employee, I don't know if she was, we're going to say she was, even a base level employee or somebody that you're using as a representative of your business can really make or break your image in a lot of ways. And I was just kind of really taken back by the whole interaction because was trying to be nice, was even saying like, oh, we actually, at one point I was like, sometimes we'll have customers who are looking for things that are a little bit like more obscure vitamins or things that, we won't necessarily carry, stuff that's a little bit more in the weeds than kind of what we get into. And she goes, oh, yeah, all of our stuff is weeds. And I was like, well, that's obviously not what I meant. Like,
Gosh.
but it was just a super interesting thing. And I think it just kind of goes to show like how important like the people who represent you can like make or break like how you look to the general public or different businesses or whatever, because this is somebody who like I know personally I've sent a fair share of business to, and I don't want to say after one like an interaction like that I won't anymore, but I won't anymore. You know what I mean? Like I won't shop there. Like I won't necessarily be like right to hand somebody like, oh, you should definitely go here. And it's just one of those situations where like it was just such a poor like I just don't understand why anybody would choose to represent themselves like in that way at stuff.
It's so weird to take the approach of like, let me explain why I'm better than you and why you should send people my way.
Yeah.
Like in what world has that ever worked?
No, let me be condescending. Oh, by the way, help me. Here's how you can benefit me. It's like, okay, well, no thanks. It's a super interesting thing. Like I've never, and I think that's why it's so important, you know, in our line of work and the stuff that we do, where like you always have to be showing. We train our employees and we teach our employees, and I say it in like sometimes in a good way and sometimes in a bad way, but the polo never comes off. You are a constant representation of Triad, like at all times, whether that's social media, whether that's you going out, whether that's, you know, you just out in the public, you dealing with people in the store, you at a sample event, like whatever. You are a constant representation of this. As soon as you put this polo on, like you represent us and this business and what we're all trying to accomplish here. And so,
and it doesn't matter who you're talking to.
It does not matter who you're talking to. Like
there's no difference between the person that's an obvious potential customer or an existing customer,
right,
and someone that is assumingly not.
Right, exactly. And I think that's why we always like, not just that we don't have it as like we've never necessarily had to make it a rule because of just the people that we have, but like such a big thing for us is like, and I know as I'm kind of, you know, calling the kettle black here, but it's like we don't talk down to like other people in the industry. Like we've never had to like make that a rule, but it's just something that we all know not to do. And it's something that we are a part of doing ever.
It's why we hire on character first.
Amen.
Yeah.
Because again, it was obviously like, again, I will give them some credit in the sense of maybe they've had a bad experience in a different supplement store. Maybe they just, you know, I get it. I deal with that on a regular basis. But this was one that kind of like obviously irked me a little bit because it was just, you know, just comment after comment. And it's like, and I'm almost curious, like, do they realize, like, does somebody in that situation realize, like, how rude they're actually being, or are they just completely oblivious to it? Because you work in an industry, like even in their industry, where you are in constant communication with people. Maybe not as much as we are.
You work in customer service.
You are you deal with customers. You work in customer service, and so it's like, is that how you are, like all the time? Like you're here. Are you a leader in this situation? I don't know. I'll stop venting about it. But it was a situation that made me appreciate the fact that our staff is so like, I don't know what the right word is so Triad forward of like, hey, everybody when you put the polo on, prepare to give the Triad experience, like wherever you are on or off shift.
Yeah. Even Ryan has to deal with that with still dealing with helping out with comments, is especially over social media where it's just text that things can come across the wrong way very easily too.
Yeah.
You have any issues? Have you had any issues with that?
I think the biggest thing is people think they can just send a message and I'll be able to say, oh, this is what you need. And I think with how we have done everything, it's like, I want to get so much information from you before I make the recommendation that doing it over social media is very challenging from our point of view. And they see it as, oh, I just need a recommendation of a product. And it's like, well, this is much more than just a recommendation of a product. Like I could easily tell you pre-workout name.
Yeah.
But there's so much that goes into choosing a pre-workout that's for you that's like, I would much rather just try to lead you to either answering all these questions, and it takes us potentially 2 days worth of going back and forth of getting an answer, or trying to lead you to get you into a store to where you're able to talk with someone who can go over those questions a lot quicker and you might say something that triggers like, oh, I need to think about this or anything about that I never get that information through messages.
It's so easy in store, and you take it for granted when someone comes in and says, what pre-workout should I get? I can ask you, a few quick questions, and you don't think anything of it, and then I can actually give you a good recommendation. But I have that with friends that reach out to me all the time, is I've learned that when they reach out over text or messenger or whatever and say, hey, what pre-workout do I need? If I start asking them questions, they'll stop responding before I can actually give them an answer. So to be honest, that is legitimately close to 100% of the time of what happens. That I my response now is just I tell them about Define Nutrition, because it's like I at least trust that this is going to work for more people or most people than most anything else in the store. Obviously biased there, but. But yeah, that's do you have a strategy? Like, do you and Hasi have a strategy now on taking those kind of questions over social media?
I think it's more so I always lead towards trying to get them to answer as many questions, or I guess I'll typically start with like, there's a lot that goes into this, blah, blah, blah. Like, we need to get a lot of information. Are you available to stop into a store at all? If not, we can definitely go through these questions and stuff like that. And so I'll kind of open up the doors. Like, the best way for us to make this recommendation is for you to stop into a store.
Yeah.
Now, I understand some people are reaching out to Triad from an hour outside of a store. And so those people, it's not easy to stop inside. And so I at least want to give them the option to, because they might make their trip up on the weekend and be able to stop in or something like that. But it's if they're not wanting to actually stop in the store and they're just wanting information, then it's starting to get those questions. And if they get to that point, typically they're willing to go back and forth and they understand that, hey, this is going to take a bit and stuff like that. But I'd say just trying to open up the door to get them in the store as quick as possible, and then falling back on asking questions later.
That makes sense. Because I might, you don't realize it. I might ask 1,000 words of questions before, we're done with an interaction.
It's so quick in store.
Yeah.
And like Ryan said, 2 days over social media.
Yeah, say 1,000 words, type 1,000 words.
Right.
It's a whole different ball game.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's not only that, it's also Instagram messages aren't always instant. So it's like you might send a message and then you're off Instagram for 2 hours, and although I replied instantly, you didn't see that instantly. So then once you reply 2 hours later, it's like, well, I might not be around my phone right then.
Right.
I might be off doing something separate. And so I not see that for another 2 hours. And so granted, in a perfect world, it's instant and we're able to get something pretty quick, but we don't live in a perfect world. So
yeah, right. No, I totally agree. Yeah, it's that happens quite a bit. It's less of luck. I luck out less in that people don't ask me a ton over social media. I probably just stop responding. But it's
they do. You just don't answer.
Yeah, they probably do. Yeah,
they're all hidden in your request folder of
probably.
your messages.
It's not customers. It's like people I know, and they just come to the store. But I do get that quite a bit where people. It's usually like friends or like family friends that I see in person when I am somewhere else that are like, hey, what should I be doing for this? And I'll take that over like the messaging thing, because I can at least typically get through it pretty quick. But it's like, this is a whole, like, you're opening a whole can of worms that, like, again, I just don't think people necessarily know. You're not asking me, what kind of oil should I put in my car? Like, there's more than 3 options. Like, there's a lot to go into this.
Right. It's I think people forget too, and I try and keep a positive mindset when out in public and people ask like, oh man, like I wanted to ask you, like, what kind of protein should I get? I think people don't realize it's like, dude, that's what I just did for work. Every day this week.
Yeah, right. Well, not you, but
when I used to. Now I get them, and I'm like, ooh, okay, like, I'm happy to help.
We should have a whole bunch of people after, all 4 of our listeners. I need you guys, whenever Kevin's gotten off work for the day, I need you to reach out to him and be like, hey, what do you think is the best vehicle, truck or SUV for transporting, like, I don't know, say like 15 to 25 boxes between 3 locations?
We did a lot of research on that. You want to talk about cubic feet or cubic feet on as far as storage capacity? On,
baby.
Between different vehicles, we looked from vans to box trucks to just even small sedans. What's the difference? Turns out a Suburban's pretty damn good.
Yeah. Well.
And it's the same vehicle my dad's driven since I was a kid, so I'm just slowly turning into my dad.
That is not false.
He probably did his research on cubic feet in the
I
Suburban.
bet he did. I bet. You should have just reached out to him, honestly.
I don't know if my dad was super happy about me getting a Suburban.
Really?
His is nicer than mine.
Did he feel like you were copying him?
Probably. I don't know.
Oof.
Yeah. So.
Father-son feud. Yikes. It's tough stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. Dad, I did this. Probably did the same research you did.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, we're just going to have people ask you about deliveries.
I'm happy to answer them. I don't get to talk to people about that. No one's curious.
That's because it's lame.
What is the best route from Yukon to Norman at 1 p.m. in the afternoon?
That is a good question. How do you get there?
I take 40 pretty much all the way to 35, and there's not really a whole lot of other routes.
Sure there is.
I'm about to say, you can take 235 over.
Sure.
And you take the turnpike down. This guy. What's his first year delivering?
All right. You guys take those routes. See how long it takes you to get there.
Deal.
Yeah. Ryan will do it on his bike.
I actually have done that.
Yeah, you have. You've stopped at the Norman store.
You do stop in at the store on your bike. What's the longest ride you've ever done? Like not mile wise. Well, actually, mile wise, first question. Second question, the furthest distance between one point and another.
In miles.
I would say it's probably this last July 4th. There's a big route that goes, starts here in the city and go up to Guthrie and then over to I think the Kearney area and then back over into Luther and back to the Oklahoma City.
Dang. It started in Oklahoma City?
Yep.
And how long does that take?
That one, this year, because I rode from my house to the start and then back at the end, it was 116 miles.
Each.
I think that was right around 6 hours because I think we averaged close to 20 miles an hour. So
yeah. What happens if someone is slower than the rest?
Well, that one is it's advertised because it is like a group ride. It's advertised as like a full drop ride. So if you get dropped off the back, you're off the back.
Wow. Is that what they call it? Full drop? Just see you later.
Yep.
Do a lot of people drop off the back?
It just depends. I think with that route, I think there's some people that it's like, you probably shouldn't have showed up. And so they might have gone into it expecting to get dropped and stuff.
Yeah.
But a lot of the group rides I'll do, there'll be like full regroups and stuff to where we'll like stop at a certain spot and everybody catch up, catches breath, stuff like that.
Stuff like that. Yeah, that makes sense.
But that one, I think there was a guy that coming out of Kearney, he got dropped. And so he has to drive or ride his bike back the same amount of distance that everyone else does, but now he just doesn't get the draft and benefit of
being
with other people.
Because it makes it harder.
Yeah.
Dang. Poor guy.
Yeah. Or either call for someone to come pick you up, and it's not a fun call saying, hey, I'm almost an hour outside the city. You want to come get me?
Man.
Yeah.
Oof.
Hopefully you got a nice girlfriend or wife.
Or
boyfriend or wife.
Good thing I stayed with that group.
Sorry, go ahead.
I've always thought of you as Alyssa's wife.
We all know who runs a company here.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I'm probably best that I didn't get dropped on that one, because if I would have, Ellie was not coming to pick me up. Partly because I was so far away, partly because of bar prep. But yeah. But I would say that one, like distance between the two, at the farthest point, you're probably looking about 55 miles, 60 miles.
That's wild, man. Like that's a long car ride.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're actually having a conversation today about this, how like There are certain things. Back when I used to ride my bike quite a bit, because I had a road bike, like an old road bike, when I was in college. When I lived, nobody ever believed me, and then I raced Nick Wheelahan one day. But we lived at the corner of like Kansas and where those apartments that we all lived at were. There to campus, which is probably like, I don't know, 4 or 5 miles. I said that I could beat him on my bike than he could on his car. And I did. It only took me like that ride to campus took me like, I don't know, 14, 15 minutes. Like it took me that might be a wrong number. It's been a long time, but it really was not a long ride at all. Cause you cut through the neighborhood. You don't have to stop. You can go through lights. Like there's all sorts of stuff you can do. And you go quite a bit faster on those road bikes than you'd expect yourself to go. You go pretty quick.
You don't have to stop at lights. You don't have to pay attention to traffic laws like
Not
cars
at
do.
all. No, it's a full-on douche badge. Isn't that right, Ryan?
Not at all. I'm not putting that out there.
Have you guys seen those people that like they'll live in a city that has like a little river or canal or something, and they'll like dress in like a wetsuit or like a scuba suit or something, and put their stuff in like a waterproof bag and just float down the river to work?
I haven't.
I should do that.
You do live close to Bricktown. You could just jump in the canal.
That's right. I think I could.
You'd get about halfway.
Yeah, well, it goes the wrong way, doesn't it?
You'd be swimming upstream.
Yeah, I could go home.
Yeah, just jump in the canal on your way home.
Where's my closest drop off to the river over here?
I think you're looking at Overholser.
All right.
Around
Drop
that
me
area.
off at Overholser and all pick me up on the beach.
We should just do it for fun one day.
Yeah. Just float the Oklahoma River?
Yep.
No. Just float the Oklahoma.
Yeah, these guys will just they're like in like I think they like take their suit off and like put it in like a bag, all their stuff. They put like a wetsuit on, and they're just like I don't even know if they swim. Maybe some swim. I've seen this like a couple of times, but they're just in the river, just floating down. Like
Takes 6 hours to get to work.
How do they get home?
That's a great question.
that is, yeah. They cut the video before they showed it.
Ryan, this is your problem. You can't just enjoy the cool stuff. You always got to ask the follow-ups.
Just curious.
He just floats the other way. Duh.
Oh, is that how that works?
Yeah.
Back in my day, we used to float upstream to work and from work.
That's right. That's right. Given the frickin' construction on the highway over here, it probably takes just as long.
True. Yeah, maybe the canal's faster.
They pull you ever seen after they pull all the stuff out of the canal in Bricktown? They'll pull 30 of those lime scooters out of there, bicycles and all sorts of crap,
yeah.
dude. Some drunk jerk just riding a lime scooter just starts yeeting them into the river.
Here's a statistic that we need from Melissa. She said she'd get statistics for us. What percentage of people that ride lime scooters are drunk?
I don't think it asks you that question before you get on it. She doesn't have a microphone. She said, am I actually supposed to look this up?
I mean, I'd like to know if there's a statistic. What?
85.
Did you? She's guessing.
I rode a lime scooter the other day.
Were you drunk?
It was 10 a.m.
Define drunk.
No, I wasn't drunk. I was walking around downtown, and I was I'd gotten pretty far. I was over by Deep Deuce, and there was a soccer game on TV, and I was like, oh, dang, I need to get home and watch that. I'm like, yeah, it's going to take me 15, 20 minutes to walk home. And I'm like, not if I scooter. So I hopped on one of those. Those things are faster than you think they're going to be.
Dude, I remember hearing a story. It was someone's wedding. It was a teak wedding in St. Louis. And I think it was a wedding. This is just a story, but I love the story. I wasn't there for it. And they had the reception and everything, and it was getting late, and everybody else had gotten Ubers or gotten rides home. And I want to say it was Herto. If it's not, this is something Herto would do. So anyway,
I already believe it.
Herto didn't really have a ride home and had drank too much to drive. So he got on a lime scooter and rode 45 miles. Line scooter.
That I would believe that.
Maybe not 45 miles, but it was like it would take you 45 miles to drive your car, or 45 minutes to drive your car, and rode a Lime scooter the whole way. Apparently ate it like multiple times.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
I'd love to see the person that had to go pick that one up, like, what he's thinking when he sees the GPS and it's 25 miles outside of the city. Like,
I wonder how far those things go.
Yeah. Herto and I are currently in a race. You guys are actually part of this too. He owns, so fraternity brother, good friend from college. Him and I used to always have talks about going and starting businesses and whatnot.
He's my home Basil.
Home Basil. He owns some Domino's franchises in, I think, Indiana. Is that right?
I think so.
Yeah, he just recently opened up his third location. So we are
sucker, we're ahead.
Officially in a race right now.
Heck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Screw you, Herto. Screw you, Domino's. We're coming for you.
yeah, if you live in the Indiana, go to Pizza Hut.
That's hilarious. Oh man. No, I appreciate that. That's funny. I saw that because they just opened. I saw on social media they just opened their new one.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's doing real well, man.
Yeah, seems like it.
I'm super happy for him.
Yeah.
So is this guy's name actually Herto, or is that a nickname?
Connor Herto.
That's his last name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that was a nickname, and if it was a nickname, I was going to be curious.
That's how he hurt his toe.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking her like Her.
Herto. We never thought about that one.
No.
The possibilities. The door's open now. This could get real bad real quick.
No. We're just gonna move on.
Yeah. We obviously talked about we're celebrating 1 year on the podcast.
Yep.
We are getting close to 8 years of business. In November, we'll hit that. We did just hit Ryan's 3 years working at the company last Thursday.
Holy moly!
No,
How's it feel?
feels good.
How'd your 3-year intervention go?
It was almost just like an extended normal check-in to an extent. So, well.
That's how it goes. The first year's a review. It's a 1 year review, a 2 year evaluation, and a 3 year intervention.
Yeah.
That's the order.
Yep.
Nice.
Exactly right.
Yeah, but it went well.
Nice. Did you get a raise?
No, dang it. No, but we got some plans, hopefully, if stuff pans out. So
Doubt it. This company? This owner? Yeah, right.
A lot of weight on these shoulders.
No. Man, that's crazy. It's crazy how fast time just goes by in general. Like, I can't believe we've been doing this for a year. You know, you've been on for 3 years. I've been back for almost 3 years is coming up. Like,
that's crazy. You've been back for 3 years.
Yeah, we're getting, dude, yeah. We're getting to where I've almost been back as long as I was gone.
Yeah, how long were you gone?
4 years.
4 years?
Mm-hmm.
Gosh. Dude, this is why we are legitimately getting old.
Oh yeah, because I went to go work for the hospital 7 years ago.
Jeez, dude.
Isn't that crazy to think about?
Nuts. Dude, we had a bunch of guys just hit their 1 year when we hired for opening up UConn and kind of transitioning people like Ryan.
Well, yeah, I mean UConn's what? How many months has UConn been open now? 9?
Yeah,
10?
yeah.
It's in its 10th month.
Yeah, it'll be because we opened in November.
Yeah.
So it'll be, I mean, a year old, and November's not that far away.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I had a bunch of people hit 1 year, and I'm like, man, you know, we got to make sure, they're, on the right track, and, they're still excited to be here and this and that. And, which I think is, we need to keep that mindset.
Sure.
But I'm like, dude, you've only been here for a year, man.
Yeah.
You guys are still just getting started.
Dude, for real.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, it's nuts how fast time goes by.
You in a little scooch? Scotch?
Yeah, let's not scotch it. I'll scooch a scotch. 3 years. How's that feel?
Feels good.
Yeah?
Yeah,
You happy still?
Yeah.
Let it all out right here on the podcast.
Yeah. I'm about to say, I mean,
Tell me all your problems you have with Kevin.
I'm about to say, he asked that question. I was like, I don't really have anything.
She asked me that question too, and I got a notebook. Alyssa and I.
You'll have to wait till you're
Alyssa
3
and
years.
I work on it every day. She texts me. She goes, Kevin left the White House, and I come back here. And we start working on the notebook. It's our Kevin griefs.
I'm excited to hear this. I don't get enough critiques.
That's right.
I just walk around thinking I'm perfect all the time. I'm like, what could I be doing better? It stresses me out a lot. No one tells me.
Yeah. How often are you showering? We'll start there.
I do come to these podcasts pretty stinky, that's for sure. I do. Alyssa can attest to this. I do.
To your stinkiness?
Not for that one. But I do usually work out. I always sweat on these podcasts. I guess I'm nervous still. I thought that would go away, but it's just.
I don't actually think you stink, just so you don't think about this all night.
I mean, I don't really care. It's just you guys. But it's.
Oh, Mr. Perfect over here.
But yeah, I got a pretty busy Mondays, doing transfers to all the stores, and then I catch a quick workout and I come here, and I sweated. I'm sweating when I'm here, so I'm like, I don't want to shower and then sweat more and then have to shower again. I hate going to bed like I've sweat at all. I hate that. But Alyssa can attest to this. I shower at least 2 times a day.
Wow.
Yep. The shower in the morning after I walk the dogs.
How's that water bill?
It's an automatic draft, so I don't know.
I was just kidding.
But yeah, dude, I heard that. So
A half shower.
yeah, just a rinse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't really say. I do pretty much the same thing. I take the fastest showers ever because I'm the same way. I take like 1 to 2 showers a day typically, and mine are I'm in and out like a minute and a half. Like it takes me no time at all.
Yeah.
How long do you shower for?
12, 14, 17 minutes.
1 shower or 2 showers a day?
Typically probably about 1.
17 minutes. You're really enjoying yourself.
All right, question for
They're
you.
long showers. Maybe not that long though.
Are you showering in the evening or in the morning?
Depends on when I ride. So
Yeah, that makes sense.
After your ride?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of how it is for me too. Like
Typically,
jujitsu dictates so much in my shower schedule.
Yeah.
typically it's mostly evening. Go to bed clean. Go about my day the next day. Ride, shower as soon as I get done riding.
Yeah.
All right, so if you weren't exercising in a day and you were only allowed 1 shower that day, would you shower in the morning or in the evening?
Morning.
Morning.
Evening.
Evening. I'm an evening too. I hate if I get home, like if I've worked out, shower, and then I go outside for just a little bit too long and I start to sweat and you just get that little bit of stickiness to you. I hate going to bed that way.
Yeah. My problem is dude, as soon as I get out of the shower, my core body temperature seems like it takes a little bit to come down. I don't even take hot showers. I don't know why. But if I go outside or something that's hot, I will just start pouring sweat immediately. I'm not into that.
Dude, that is one of my I hate that feeling. And I was doing it a lot when I was working, especially in Norman, because I would drive to Norman, I would work out somewhere with AC, and then I would have a shift, and I don't want to just jump on shift and take customers right after I've worked out and I'm all stinky. I would take a shower, and then I'd have to walk out when it was in the summer, and it'd be 100 degrees out, and in the shower, I'd try and take a cold shower too, so I'd kind of cool off, But then I'd go right back outside and immediately start sweating, and I had just stopped. I'm not even fully dry for my shower yet. I hate that feeling.
Oh, yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah.
This is good content, guys.
Yep.
This is what the people want.
When do you shower? How often do you shower?
I'm still caught on 17 minutes. That's a long time. What are you doing in there?
That's after a long ride. Start with about 5 minutes of cold shower. Switch over to
You sitting down?
No.
And you stand the whole time?
I have my phone propped up watching YouTube.
That's your problem. Yep. Phone propped up. You gotta shave. Well, Alyssa said he's gotta shave his legs.
I actually do.
Yeah, right.
Plan to race tomorrow, so they need to be
Maybe
They're not aerodynamic right now.
You're
so
not very aerodynamic. Take your clothes off. Let's see how aerodynamic you are.
Are you getting a ride again?
yeah, I got a ride both times, or Saturday, Sunday this weekend. Those were like first rides back, and then
Hey.
Is your leg still liquid or?
there's still a little bit of fluid on top of the quad, but it's for the most part gone. I was looking around to see, like, I was at the point where it's like I knew I needed to do something because just waiting for it to get better wasn't going to be an option, especially if I wanted to race in September. And so I started looking around, and turns out Shay has an office 0.7 miles from my house.
Oh,
And so I was like, well, that's convenient.
yeah.
So I reached out to her and ended up going and seeing her, and we did some stuff. And so she ended up taping it, did some scraping and some just like mobility stuff, and it started to kind of 180 and was able to ride this weekend. No
Dang.
complaints or anything. So
Heck yeah. Shay's the best.
she is. She's great.
She's awesome.
Super awesome Define ambassador
Yeah.
too.
Define ambassador as well.
Yeah.
I actually saw Kyle. I did not know he was back from Hawaii. So
Oh, I didn't either.
Permanently or temporarily?
no, he's temporarily. I guess he comes back every now and then.
Huh.
When I saw him, I was like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" And then it dawned on me that wait, he moved to Hawaii.
That's wild to me. I
Yeah.
still don't
But-
fully grasp like being able to continue a business like that. But props too. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd love to live in Hawaii.
Yeah.
You gotta have
He's
people
not
like
back
Shay.
for he's not back because
Yeah.
of any of like the fires or anything. I think he
good.
just happened to be scheduled to be back at this time. He has people he'll see and stuff, but sounds like everything's going really well there. And
Nice.
yeah,
Can't beat that.
I have a lot of questions for that guy.
Where is their location that's 0.7 miles from you?
it's inside CrossFit 405.
Oh, that makes sense. Dang, that is right there. Got me a bum shoulder.
Yeah. She is only there on Thursdays, so FYI.
That's a dumb one.
And she does work out at Coda Norman too, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where she's most days, but has the one day a week where she's in the city or in Oklahoma
Yeah.
City. So
This is an important thing I think that we should talk about. We know, like, the woe is me, right? But we know a lot of people that do a lot of things, and I really struggle at times when I have something that I need to go do, or I need fixed, or I need looked at, or I need whatever. And I look, and there's like 3 people I'm really close with that all do the same thing. And I'm like, how do I, like, I almost
Yeah.
want to, like, this is terrible. And shame on me for even saying this. I almost want to go to none of them.
Yeah.
I mean, that legitimately, I
It
wasn't going to do
crosses my
anything.
mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wasn't going to do anything for my quad or shoulder because I'm like, I know at least 2 people that I really want to go see.
Right.
And the only reason I went with Shay is I looked up location. I'm like 0.7 miles. Like I can
Yeah.
walk there, and so I strictly went off just based off distance to where I live.
Literally.
So this is a huge point. I made a big post about this one time and how much, number one, how much we appreciate the people that shop with us because
yeah.
we're local. I don't ever want to personally rely on that. I never want that to be the main reason that we're doing well, because people will go to places if they're better than us.
Sure.
Even if they know us and are close with us, if there's someone that's offering better products, better prices, better service, they're going to pull some people away from
Sure.
us. And I never want people to feel obligated to have to come to us just because they know us.
Yep.
I want them to shop with us because we truly are better in every possible aspect.
Well, and I think that that's my point that I'm making, though, is I don't want to choose one of them and even subtly communicate to the other ones that I think one of them is better.
Yeah.
That's what I worry about. Like,
Yeah.
I love all of them, and I think that this is a perfect example. A perfect example. I am 99% positive my left shoulder is separated. Like my AC joint is separated,
Ooh.
and it has been for a minute, right? Like a minute.
And you know too many people that could help with that.
I legitimately do, though, right? Shay.
Yeah.
Love Shay. Love Tyler. Her husband. Whew. My goodness.
Talking about a little shark bit.
Oh, wait. Love them. They're wonderful. Could absolutely help me. No doubt in my mind. Cass literally sat on this couch next to me.
Right.
Helped me with my back and my hip whenever I was having problems with that. Like, is phenomenal. Hits all of the right things on there. And then I have Jeff, who is a friend of mine and customer that Jeff Ajazi, who I literally do jujitsu with, where I hurt my shoulder, right? And I see him more than anybody because I do jujitsu with him like multiple times a week, right? And he is the one who is like, yeah, that's your AC joint, like that's probably what's going on. And I'm like, I love all three of you, and all three of you could easily help me with my issue, but I don't want to. And I know any of them that would be listening would be like, oh man, dude, not gonna hurt my feelings at all. And I get that. Like, we're the same way.
Yeah.
But it is one of those things where it almost like it is so hard for me to like, who do I go to? Like, what do I do in that situation? And that is a understated thing that I think it can be difficult at times.
What is it? The proverbial donkey. This isn't exactly.
What'd you call me?
Perverted donkey.
I don't know what proverbial means, but we can fight.
The proverbial donkey. This isn't going to be an exact, like, this isn't match exactly, but the story is there's a donkey and two completely are exact same bales of hay, the exact same distance away from this donkey, and the donkey has to choose one to go to, but they are both the exact same. And in theory, it would pick the better. And if they're both the exact same, it would never pick either, and it would die.
Yeah. I'm going to die for my shoulder.
You are the donkey.
I am a donkey, and I'm going to die. But this is like a legitimate thing that is tough, though. Because I just like, I can be such a people pleaser sometimes. Kaylin and Will would probably
disagree.
Yeah. Especially Kaylin. But it is a tough thing where like, I know where you're at with that, where I'm almost like, there's like a part of me that's like, I just go to none of them. Like, just don't go at all, or just go to somebody random. And it's like, that all seems dumb. Like, why would I do that? I know and trust these people, but it is a super difficult thing when you're like, okay, I actually have something that I need to have looked at, and like potentially worked on. But I still haven't made that decision. So
hopefully one day.
If I hadn't committed to some friends about racing in September, I probably wouldn't have seen Shay, like, full transparency, just for that very reason.
Yeah. You probably would have gone to nobody.
I would have just waited it out and hoped to get better and stuff like that. And
that's such a tough thing. All right. Between the three of us, we just got to all pick one.
One each, or one all together?
One each. So you think you'll be able to race in September?
I think so, yeah.
That's the one in St. Louis, right?
Yeah, it's actually the shirt I'm wearing. But yeah, that'll be, I think so. It'll be interesting to see where fitness is at. I still don't have my road bike back, but I think it will be done tomorrow. And so
that's right, your bike. So for those that don't know, Ryan is a cyclist, and is pretty competitive with it, and does a lot of crit racing, which from my understanding are typically shorter, more technical races. And recently took a spill, which is, from my understanding, again, fairly common.
It can be. Yeah. I'd say this was probably one of my first, I guess, spills where it was somewhat serious, and in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't all that serious from like what other people in that same race even dealt with. But yeah, it can be relatively of a common thing. Just,
you said a couple people had to go to the hospital, right?
Yeah, I'd say this race for some reason just overall just sketchy for no reason. I think everyone had raced that course multiple times, knows how it works out and stuff, but I think there might have been a few new guys or people that had just recently moved up in their category or something like that. But it was just super sketchy. We started the race for 22 people. I think 9 of those people did not finish the race, me being one. And of those 9, 4 of the guys ended up seeing the hospital at some point that day or the day after.
That's crazy.
How fast are you going on those bikes?
I think at the time of the crash, it was in a straightaway. We could have been pushing about 30 miles an hour.
That's so fast. I don't think people realize how fast. Like when you go 30 miles an hour in a car, you're like, I'm cruising through.
You're going slow.
Yeah, you're going pretty slow. Like that's like a little over neighborhood speeds, right? I drive 25 all the time in the neighborhood. I'm very safe about that, expecting parent. But
subtle flex.
But I remember as a kid, you guys ever sketch on a skateboard? Like grab a car and you're on a skateboard and like they get going like 10, 15 miles an hour, and you're like, this is terrifying.
Yeah, you start getting the speed wobbles, and you're like, "What the heck is this?"
Like going real downhill on a skateboard. Like, oh golly.
Yeah, it is. That is booking it, man.
Yeah.
So to take a fall going 30 miles an hour that's crazy.
Just nothing between the road and you and spandex.
Yeah. You got Lycra and a helmet, and that's about it.
Oof.
I remember watching one of your races too, and it was, it's a big group, like all together. I know you guys are trying to catch the draft and keep that, the wind resistance down, but you're going around corners and stuff. And it's like, dude, I feel like your handlebars are touching each other. It was like kind of scary.
Yeah. I'd say in the moment, it's not that bad. After you get used to it, it definitely takes a little bit of getting used to.
Oh, I'm sure.
But I mean, I've had a few people like hit my handlebars and stuff while we're going, and it's definitely an uneasy feeling at times.
Especially when you have someone to the other side of you too.
Yeah. I think it helps that I'm on the bigger side of a lot of the cyclists. So if someone tries to kind of bully me around or something like that, they're most likely just going to be moving themselves. They're not really moving me.
Hell yeah.
And so I do have that benefit going for me, but I mean, it's still, you don't want your bars being touched when you're going into a corner at 20 plus miles an hour or anything like that. And so,
no way.
But
yeah, I remember riding my bike as a kid, and like your friend just gets a little too close to you, and you're like, get out of here, man. Handlebars are going to get tangled up. I think that's how handlebars work, right?
Yeah.
You got it.
Get tangled up.
Yeah, especially when you got the little curve.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How often in those races are there crashes?
Like I said, I've been in my third year of like actually racing, and that's like my first like proper crash that was somewhat serious. And so if you have decent handling skills, tentatively you're not going to really see all that many crashes. But when you start to get to bigger races, this was at the Arkansas State Crit, and so it meant a little bit more for like the Arkansas residents and stuff like that, because they potentially get a jersey out of it to wear for the whole next year.
Oh, that's cool.
And so that might have led to just being a little bit more of a sketchy race. But if there's more meaning behind it, or if it's a bigger crit and stuff, you'll see more.
Yeah.
And so like I went and did Tulsa Tough this year, and I think in our race there was probably 2 crashes each day. Granted, we start each day with a little over 100 people racing. So and we're doing a track that's less than a mile. So you're doing multiple laps of that for 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
They're going to get some people to get tangled up.
Yeah.
How many calories you burn in one of those races?
I don't know if I've actually looked at my calories in a while.
Yeah.
I know for a while, a typical like Sunday ride where I'd do about 45 miles, I think I was burning close to 2,000.
That's why you buy glucose by the case.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say in the middle of race season, I'm doing 4 scoops of glucose an hour.
That's wild.
So much.
Dude, I bet you legitimately notice a difference too, because I use glucose a lot of times intra-workout, but I'm doing an hour-long workout, and I'm taking rest periods. Like, I'll notice a difference, especially if it's like more of a leg day. Like, I can kind of notice energy levels up or down, but it's not a make or break for me. Dude, I bet you would notice like a crash if you weren't taking carbs in.
So this Saturday it was one of my first rides back, and I'd made everything the night before, and I forgot to put glucose in my bottles. And I noticed about halfway through the ride, I'm like, I don't think I put my carbs in my bottle today. And I noticed by the end of that ride, it was just like, what can I do to get home at this point? And it was rough, but we made it.
Feel like you can't even move, kind of like exhaustion.
My legs still feel heavy from that day, so just playing catch up now.
That's what. It's still like an after effect too. Yeah.
When Vincent and I climbed the mountain in Salt Lake City, both of our Camelbacks were Glucose Plus and water.
Hey,
yeah,
this is our advertisement for Define Glucose Plus right here.
Yeah, an 11-hour hike,
dude. I bet. Did you guys? Do you feel like you noticed a difference with it? Like, hard to notice because you didn't do one hike without it.
Yeah,
one hike with
but
it,
like 11 hours of what we did. Yeah, like there's no way
you'd have been donezo.
Yeah, they'd have been airwhacking me out of that.
Yeah.
Vincent would have carried me down.
Dude, I just listened to a story. This is going to be totally random, but it put in perspective. This is probably a little bit more of an extreme hike, but it was like two guys climbing a mountain. There's apparently a whole book on it and everything, and I'll try and shorten as much as possible. But apparently, one friend broke his leg on the way down.
Oof, leave him.
Another guy was roping him down, like tied him with a rope, would and then ice pick into the ice, let him down, and then he would ice pick and then climb down to him, and they just repeat over and over and over again. Well, one time he roped him over a cliff, and then he couldn't pull him back. He couldn't get back up the rope. The friend couldn't get down to him because he's like holding on to him, and had to make the choice to cut the rope. And the guy ended up fell like, gosh, it was like 80 feet or something like that, and fell into this like big like ice crevasse and landed on this like small little shelf. So it was like further down and then like 80 feet up. So couldn't climb up. His friend thought he was dead, went down to the bottom of the mountain, camped out, and the friend, after I think like a couple of days, decided like, I cannot make it up. I might as well go down and see if there's a way out. And it's just dark nothingness forever. And went down, got tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter, and eventually opened back up, got to like a flat spot, and then found a light, made his way out, crawled to his friend like 5 miles, and found his friend right as he was packing up his tent, all with a shattered leg.
So where does glucose come into this?
Holy if he'd had glucose plus, he could have pulled him off of that cliff.
True.
Holy shit.
I listened to that story earlier today, and I'm still like, dude, to make that decision to go down into dark nothingness and on a mountain.
Yeah, no way. Dude,
Yeah.
that is like, do you ever see those like spelunking videos where it's like guy gets stuck in like caving, and I'm like, nope.
I don't watch those.
Nope.
I don't watch
Dude,
those.
that is like I don't think I'm claustrophobic until I see stuff like that, and I'm like, I don't know if that's like a actual claustrophobia, but it's like that is just bleh, ooh, that's like the worst. That would be the worst way.
Yeah, I've listened. I'll give a quick shout out to. It's because I'm doing long drives. You know, being a delivery guy.
Boy,
sorry. Hopefully, I graduate at my 8-year review.
We'll see.
Long time coming. Fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm.
I've been listening to podcasts. A lot of YouTube. Mr. Ballin recently. He does. He does some like just crazy stories. So he was the one that told that story about, and again, there's like a whole book on it,
Right.
About these two guys that went climbing, and yeah, he's got some wild stories, and they range, and they're all really weird. They don't all have happy endings. I'll preface that, but they are some wild stories.
As just a quick callback, do you talk to Mr. Ballin as well?
Sometimes I chime in.
Okay.
On his. No, I don't know. I don't know the stories, so nothing to contribute there.
You know, if he would have had a bottle of Glucose Plus right then, that wouldn't have been a problem.
Today's episode brought to you by Define Glucose Plus.
Yeah, that's right. Forgot to do our commercials. Oh man,
We're
That's
not really
crazy.
good at capitalizing on these podcasts.
Well, if we had some sponsors. Just kidding. Talk about a save. You know what else is a save? When I saved money using so-and-so realtor. Just start getting those like real cheesy segues that you'll see on stuff.
I can get those set up for y'all.
Hey.
I think you said we've been getting some people reaching out on Instagram, right? Or email.
There's a few guys that have reached out on email about having people on. They always seem spammy and stuff. But I'm pretty sure through like the Spotify upload, you can click a sponsor read, and we could legitimately do like a sponsor read.
That's hilarious.
Interesting.
It wouldn't be like we wouldn't have an actual sponsor.
Yeah,
We'd
no.
have to like
No,
they
like-
would give us a sponsor to read for?
Yeah.
And what? Can we get paid for this?
Yeah.
How much?
1 penny per viewer.
Dude,
So
I'm in. I'm so in.
that's 2 cents each.
Hey man, talk about but like some legitimacy though, like starting to have some like sponsored ads.
Dang, that is funny. Yeah, like the thing that everybody hates would actually probably make us sound a little bit more legitimate.
Yeah, right.
Thank goodness
so funny.
something on this episode is scripted.
Yeah. Yeah, all of those friends we keep talking about with businesses. Just kidding. That's so yeah. Dang, you can do a what kind of does it tell you what the options are? Like
I haven't looked that much into it, but I think you can kind of somewhat pick who you get a read for. It'll have like a certain amount of like companies that you can like, the ones that you probably have heard on other podcasts and stuff, to be honest.
Yeah.
But you just like, I want to do this one.
that's crazy.
So as a company, you can put your hat in a pool and be picked
makes
up.
sense.
I'm guessing they probably determine, hey, we'll be on these types of podcasts, or like maybe some final approval there or something. That's interesting.
That is super. Today's episode brought to you after Ryan shaved his legs by Manscaped.
Dude, I bet we could get a sponsorship going.
That would be good. All right.
Our only sponsor is Define Nutrition right now,
and
they
Triad.
and
They've paid for,
Triad.
they have paid for everything.
They paid for the equipment, but we haven't made anything from them since.
We'll hit them
Bunch
back
of
up.
Bums.
Yeah.
They listen to us just giving out free advertisement for Define Glucose Plus. For what? For nothing. Alyssa, how you holding up over there?
Hungry.
She's hungry. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. I'm hungry too, and I'm not even pregnant. So, gotta be tough.
Yep. We are getting into the third trimester.
Dang.
That's crazy.
I bet you guys are getting excited.
Yeah.
I see all this stuff at the house. Like, I see you guys upload the pictures, all the new stuff, and that's crazy. You have a nursery.
You don't have a.
There's no room.
Yeah.
Oklahoma doesn't have basements, so I don't
Yeah,
know.
they don't.
I don't know.
Isn't that because, why doesn't Oklahoma have basements? Is it the soil? You're the local.
I have no clue.
2 reasons. I got the answers.
Wow.
Yep. The freeze line, so like we'll compare it to St. Louis. The freeze line, like how far the soil freezes in the winter on average, or like how far it might go, is pretty low in St. Louis. So you have to make you have to get the foundation past that. So it's so deep that you might as well just make it 8 feet,
Yeah, that
and make
makes
it a
sense.
full basement. So
Makes
pretty
sense.
much all houses in St. Louis have a basement. Where
Yeah.
here, I think it's only like a couple feet or 2-3
Yeah.
feet. I have no idea what it is, but
No,
it's not like you'd have to like go way further to
Then
make
what
the
you need
basement.
to.
Is reason number 1.
Okay.
Reason number 2 is that Oklahoma City being a oil city, where when it was first really starting to grow, they were having to build houses so quickly that they didn't really see a need to build or like really big things like basements, or do things or add things that took a lot more time. So they were trying to pop out houses as fast as possible because so many people are moving here. But you can build a house with a basement here. There was a customer, I don't know if he still works here, but Corey Ransbottom, I believed, worked for a company that specialized in putting a basement instead of a foundation for your house. And I think they may build houses as well, but I think that's what they specialized in, was specifically building a basement for you.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like a good basement.
Same.
Yeah.
Do you?
Maybe it's a Missouri thing. I'm
Yeah.
so used to basements.
Because we grew up with it.
Yeah.
So
fun. We always used to go down to the basement. That's where you played games and, like, I don't know, you just did stuff down in the basement.
Yeah, where did is growing up, Ryan? Did you have somewhere else that like you would hang out with your friends?
Outside, like a weirdo in the sun? Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah, what did you do without basements?
Went outside. Say, there's really not much outside of that. I mean, get the ramps out and go jump my bike and
Yep.
I'm a sucker for a good ramp.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is. Even today, still a delivery boy. Loves those ramps.
So I had a few friends though that had basements and stuff, but
Did you really?
I feel like I feel like it was more common for people to have like a bonus room upstairs than a basement
Yeah.
downstairs.
No, for sure. The old bonus room.
Yeah.
So
That's the same thing. It's the same idea.
Yeah. That's true.
But I like there's something about like the coolness. I don't even mean like coolness like it's cool. I mean like it's actually like I feel like it's always kind of like a degree or two colder down there.
Yeah.
Down in the basement. It's kind of a nice thing.
It's also a little quieter too, so you can be a little rambunctious. And there's
Ooh.
like,
I think that's why they put us down there. That makes sense.
yep, it's concrete floors. You're underneath everybody, so it's a little quieter. So
That's right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Alyssa's talked about when we get to one day when we get to build a dream home, we're gonna build a basement. Yeah.
I see that.
Did your mom have a finished basement or
We didn't have a basement at our house, but
in Springfield?
yeah, but like our first
Here you are,
let me finish.
fake fan of basements
Yeah.
right here.
I could still be a fan. We didn't at our like the house that we lived in for the majority of the time, but all my friends had basements. That was the thing. We always used to go play in the basement. I was always jealous of basements. Thanks for bringing that up. Bringing that childhood trauma back to me. I was always super jealous of everybody's basement because I thought they were freaking cool. They had pool tables and stuff, and we didn't have room for that because we didn't have a freaking basement. Jerk. A fake fan of basement. No, I loved a basement more than you ever could because you didn't. You always had one.
You grew up knowing what it was like to not have one.
Exactly.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was such a childhood trauma.
Yeah.
to
Well,
not-
you're coming after me,
not have a basement.
you bastard. I don't know what this is like.
I am sorry.
I might as well have grown up in Oklahoma.
Ryan grew up without one. He's probably got some.
Oh,
sort
we had
of,
one.
You got your parents had a basement. See, he's probably got some support group or something for
No,
kids
because
without
nobody
basements.
had them, so you don't understand. It's like
Yeah, I
it's
could
right
care
in
less.
front of your face all the time.
It's join the KWB group, Kids Without Basements. It's a support group. They meet on Sundays.
You're a real prick. You know that? I'm tired of your shit. You beat me? No, but everybody else did, dude, and it was the coolest. And I always thought our house was shit because it didn't have a basement. It's tough times.
Tell me about it.
I'm trying.
I would have really thought there would have been something to do with tornadoes, with reason why. But I don't know what the
Yeah.
reason would be there, just because it makes sense to have a basement with how much tornadoes you get through here. But
Yeah.
It
'Cause
would make sense to.
It would, yeah. It totally would.
Then it's
I always thought it was a soil issue. I guess not.
kinda, but
Well, yeah, but I mean, like in the sense of it, like, not that it just, like, I thought that it wasn't, like, suitable.
like it's a lot of clay.
Yeah.
I'm curious if there would also be something like with St. Louis and Missouri when I've been there. There's more like undulation with the terrain and stuff, and so it's more common to potentially enter on one level, and like the
Oh,
backside
yeah.
has
walkout basements.
walkout basements and stuff. Where
Super
Oklahoma,
common.
it's just so flat that you don't see it.
Yeah,
That was what most of. There was a couple people that had, like, just traditional basements, but the majority of people had walkout basements.
yeah. Older houses, walkout basements, I think started to become really popular at one point. Like I think a lot of older houses just had like basement, no walkout. But I remember that like really starting to get popular at one point. Those are the two reasons that I was told by Corey Ransbottom. There could be other reasons, but again, his job,
Seems like
I
it might be the
believe,
expert, yeah.
yeah, his job was to build basements here in Oklahoma. So he seemed pretty knowledgeable on the.
Makes sense. Yeah, but no, you're right though. You'd think like with the tornadoes and everything, like a basement would be a positive. But
Because I know like all the houses we grew up in had a full-on cellar, but like it was a walk-down cellar, not like the little one that you just barely fit in your garage. It was like a proper full staircase, like almost a separate room itself. That
sounds like a basement.
it
I
was,
was gonna say.
and so I would call it a basement, but the entrance was outside, and so it's like you'd have to go outside to get into it, but it was still like under the house, like
It's pretty creepy in there.
yeah,
Yeah.
tons of crickets.
Oh yeah.
That was the That was the thing, though, was like lots of people had basements in Missouri, but it was like you were shooting like 70-30 on whether or not it was like a cool place to hang out or a freaking creepy place to be.
Yeah.
And no matter what, they still shove the kids down there either way. Like if it was a creepy basement or a cool basement, we were still down there.
So my parents, the house that my parents are in now, they ended up finishing that basement because they moved into like their dream home and like finished it out and everything. Super cool basement. I still go down there when we visit. Like carpet, drywall, bar, like nice like entertainment center and everything. But the house that we were in before we moved there, we were in Florissant, Missouri, wasn't finished, and so we had a rug, a couch,
spiders,
old TV, spiders, and the creepiest thing were those cave crickets.
Yeah,
Dude, if you know what cave crickets are, right? Dude, they are crickets they have a body that's probably the size of a very small grape, and then legs that stick up like twice as tall as that is, and it looks like a spider, but it jumps like 2-3 feet. They are terrifying, and I don't think they're harmful at all.
Yeah.
But as a kid,
just
like
to your soul.
even as an adult, yeah, Alyssa's like eyes are wide right now because she's like, I hate cave crickets.
Well, that's how it was, because it was like, you'd go down and it was like, oh, there's all these lights and it's like fully finished everywhere and it's all super cool and super nice. And you're like, these are super cool basements. And then you go to your next buddy's house and be like, oh, let's go down basement. The 64's down there. You're like, oh, bet. And you go down there and it's like dark and you hear just like dripping water. And then it's like there's one corner of the basement that is literally gravel and it's pitch black and it's just essentially a crawl space, and it's like you can see that corner but you can't see all the way back there. And you're like, okay, so this is just where we're gonna play 64. We're like, yep. And it's like, all right.
Dude. Do you remember?
So weird.
Do you remember the Elm House basement in Springfield?
Yes, that is the exact place that I'm essentially describing.
That sounds, what Ryan is describing sounds like the Elm House basement.
Yeah.
Like this house
had
was
an
built.
indoor entrance, so it's a basement.
Oh, did it have an indoor entrance? I can't remember.
No.
But this was a place that the house was like, what, 100 years old?
Probably.
It was like a historic house in Springfield, and we were just
Not historic because it was nice.
yeah.
Just it was old enough.
Yeah, right. It was not nice.
No.
But the walls were legitimately stone, not concrete.
Yeah.
In this basement. That basement was scary. That's
Yeah.
for sure. Did you ever go hang out in the cellar as a kid? Play some N64?
No, there was no power or anything down there. It was just 4 concrete walls. We'd had a little cot down there in case we needed to use it.
Like if tornadoes come in.
Yeah.
Hang out. Yeah.
It was more, I guess, kind of like a safety bunker / storage unit type thing. So like if tornado came, had like a battery powered radio and cot down there, but then just had a few like shelves and stuff for.
Was it like, how big was it?
Probably the size of like the camera room.
Yeah, you could fit some stuff in there. That'd be nice to have. Mm-hmm.
It's like all our Christmas stuff went there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. That's Alyssa and I were talking about, that's probably why there's so many storage units here in Oklahoma City, is because not many people have basements or just room to store random crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were attics popular in St. Louis?
We had attics.
Okay. I didn't know if
We
y'all
always
had.
had attics. Yeah.
That's true. I guess, yeah, we've got attics here.
Yeah, we got attics. We got hell attics. Got attics
What kind?
everywhere.
Oh, no. Never mind.
But yeah, that is kind of interesting. That is one thing we don't really have in St. Louis. Like, people don't really have storm shelters because we just got basements. Yeah, storm shelters. Even like the one that was just put in our house, like, so brand new house. So like obviously brand new storm shelter. It still collects bugs, and it's like kind of claustrophobic in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a place you want to be.
Yeah.
Our first house didn't even have one.
No, it didn't.
So our house we're at right now, actually, where I'm at right now has a basement,
Yeah.
but
Oh, yeah.
Does
oh,
it?
Yeah. That's funny to think about. Yeah. Those houses do have basements.
it's like a conjoined basement because I live in what's like a fourplex. So
Right.
Does it have the laundry down there?
there is laundry down there, but every unit has its own laundry as well.
Oh, that's nice.
But yeah, there's a full like basement down there, and I think there's like probably 8 houses on our street that all are kind of set up like that, and they all have basements.
Yeah.
So you can go down there if like tornado sirens are going off.
Yep. And
You
that's
go
where we
down.
went.
Have you been down there many times?
We went down there once, probably 4 or 5 months ago when sirens went off.
Yeah.
But
Siren goes off now. What do you do?
like right here.
No, the siren. You're at their house.
Oh,
what do you
just
do?
go down to the basement.
You get the Blackstone. Bring it down to the basement with you.
Thomas, what do you do now that you're downtown?
Die. No.
That's an option.
We have a basement. Technically, we have a lower level. It's a big storage room, too, which is interesting. It's like where the gym and the vending machines are.
That's an
Yeah,
old-
I said vending machines. No big deal.
Vending machines at your house.
Shh, pretty cool.
That is a pretty old building, though, so I gotta imagine that's haunted.
I think it scares the heebies out of Laurel for sure, but nah, it's really not that bad. It is huge. It might be twice the size of this warehouse.
Oh, I can imagine.
It's huge, and they've
Is
just
it like all open, or is it a bunch of rooms?
it's all open, but they all have like, so it's probably 12-foot ceilings, and there's a bunch of like 10-foot storage units, just like any storage unit you'd see on the street, like the same like pull-up garage, like everything, and they're just all over the bottom of it.
Interesting. Is it a bunch of pillars everywhere?
Yeah, and there's pillars and stuff, but there's like lights, and there's a bathroom down there, and there's the gym. You don't walk in that part to go to the gym, but that's where like they've got like dollies and carts and stuff, or if you need to get something like big from your car, you go down there and grab them. And so it's not that. I don't think it's scary, but
Have you used the gym down there?
no, the gym's like they have that whole area, and the gym is probably like 600 square feet. It's got like a treadmill, an elliptical, and like
So they put
Dumbbells
just
up to
enough in there
25.
to add extra to the.
yeah, right. Like there's
Yeah,
enough in there to say like,
advertise it.
oh, it's a gym, but it's not anything. The vending machines, though, we do take advantage of those. They're kind of nice, dude. There is something really nice about like, because you especially will appreciate this, because I think you, given the fact that you were hiding treats at your house, I think this is a perfect example.
I don't
of
know what
something.
you're talking about.
This is a perfect example of there are times when I'm like, man, I could just go for something like a bag of chips or like a little Debbie snack or like an oatmeal cream pie or like a little donut stick or something, and I don't want to go. I don't want to buy a whole box, right?
What's a donut stick?
Yeah, that's Ryan.
I know what
made
you're
the face
talking
too.
about.
I don't.
They're
It's like this-
literally called donut sticks.
It's like the 6 little mini donuts, is what I assume you're talking about.
No, I'm not. They're called donut sticks.
Then you're making something up.
I am not. Google it. Ryan, pull that up. No, they
What's
are.
this?
They come in packs of 2s or 3s, and they're glazed donuts, and they're like, they're shaped to like dip in coffee or something. But they were literally like sticks. They're shaped like this. Yeah, look at it. He pulled it right up. Don't you lie. You were under oath. Don't you lie, you bastard.
Oh, I don't doubt that these are a thing, but I've never seen these in my life.
They're pretty good. They're little like cake sticks, but they're like yeah. Let the man see. Get over here.
Which one's the accurate one?
Either of these. I think these might be the exact guys. So it's like those.
I feel like
they're
I've
donut sticks.
those look so familiar. Like I feel like I've seen those at a vending machine, but I've never consciously registered that those are a real thing.
You should check them out. They're pretty good.
Like those have probably been in every vending machine I've ever seen, but I've never like been like donut sticks.
I know 2 specific vending machines that have them. The ones at the Montgomery downtown where I live, and the vending machines at the airport here in Oklahoma City. Both have donut sticks. So if you're in the market, come over or get out of town. One of the two. So, anywho, if I am in the mood for a delicacy such as a donut stick, but I don't want a whole box in the house because I know myself. If I have a whole box in the house, I will eat a whole box of them. So it's like,
Right.
it's just better. Like I've gotten to like cheat meal, like I gotta throw away, like eat as much as I can, and then just like if I've got 2 slices of pizza, don't put it in the fridge, just get rid of it.
Same.
Like I will eat it. And so that's what used to be my favorite thing about you was when we lived at the house together, I'd wait for you to eat a cheat meal, and then I'd wait for you to not finish your cheat meal because I knew you're gonna throw it away, and you'd always offer it up to me, and I'd be like, yeah, daddy, you know I want that. But it's really nice because if it's late or whatever, and I'm like, man, I could really go for something, and it's like like, I don't usually get like a hankering for something real bad. But when I do, I'm like, okay, I just literally walk out to the elevators, ride down. It takes me a minute maybe. And it's one of those fancy vending machines that I can use my like Apple Pay on. And so it's just like, boop, E4. Donut sticks.
Man, that is nice.
And they're gone by the time I get back to the apartment. They don't even make it to the elevator.
All right. Add that to my dream home.
Tell you what, man, it is a nice thing because, again, like they're just far enough away that I have to really want one.
And you have to pay for it.
And I have to pay for it. So it's like there's like some work to getting it. So I've maybe done it 3 or 4 times. Maybe 2 or 3 times. Right. Ryan. Boy. But I've done it very sparingly, but because it's just far enough away. But if I really want something, it's there, and it's only like a limited amount. I can't. It's not like going to get a whole box. So it's nice. It really is a nice thing to have access to that. And they have monsters in the drink one.
Oh, that's nice.
And they're really not bad. They're $3, which is like not cheap, but it's not like the end of the world.
But when you're in a pinch, like you need an energy drink. It's like
I had one this morning. Like I was heading to. I was about to head to the gym, and I'm like, God, I really don't want to go to a gas station and a gym the gym, and I'm like, I don't want to buy an at the gym. I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna get a monster downstairs.
There you go.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah,
You can get around that with buying a full case of Triad.
I totally can, but we don't sell monsters. Fun fact.
Get an acquired taste for a better drink.
Nah, I do like all the drinks that we have here, but sometimes you boy want a white monster.
I mean, I get it.
Yeah, yeah. When was the last time you had a white monster? And don't lie to me.
Sunday.
Yeah, see. When was the last time you had a donut stick?
Just found out about them today.
Yeah, you're gonna be finding them later. They are honestly pretty good though, because they're kind of like cake donut-y. Like they got a little something to them, Got a little density.
So the other night, me and Ellie were in that mood where a vending machine might have been nice. So we walked to Hertz.
Oh yeah, see that, and I get that, and that's kind of like the same thing. Like you have that, like this is going to take some effort for me to get it, but I can't. It's not going to be. It'll be worth it.
I say that. I drove to Big Truck and I ate Big Truck, and then we walked across the street to Hertz.
Yeah, that is the one thing about living over there that I do miss is quicker access to Big Truck tacos. You ever had Big Truck tacos?
No, I've heard about it so much, but just never really had a great opportunity.
Highly recommend, if their special of the day is their steak and mac and cheese quesadilla.
Ooh,
Real nice.
I've never had that. That sounds
right.
awesome. Their quesadillas are bomb though. All their food is honestly really good.
I will eat the worst quesadilla in the world and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yep. A steak mac and cheese quesadilla though. All right.
This is an important question because
Spicy mac too, I think.
I sorry, this just came
What
out.
just happened?
You made the sound for the face he made.
Edit that together. Send me the face she made. And that's it.
I think that I don't remember the face I made.
Pretty close.
Nice.
But oh yeah, Big Truck is super good. They I've never had that, but this is a good question because I got ridiculed one day at jiu-jitsu about this, and this got brought up. I think I might have already vented about this on the podcast, but I don't care.
Do it again. Let's hear it.
They ridiculed me, like 3 people, and I think I was just in the wrong room. Sometimes you just realize you're in the wrong room, and I think this is one of those moments. They said, Thomas, would you rather eat a taco or a quesadilla? And I said, quesadilla 10 out of 10 times.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, what? And they ridiculed me for it. They beat me.
Dude.
Where are you at?
Oh, quesadilla.
Yes, thank you.
There's too much variety with tacos, I feel like. Where
Yeah.
People want to add greens to that, and I don't like greens, so tacos are off limits right there. People don't add greens to quesadillas.
That's true. That's just nothing.
You
green?
have to ask for it. Nothing green.
Nothing green. Avocado.
Oh no.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
No
no.
guacamole with the quesadilla though.
Dude, you know what?
Ranch, perfect.
Ooh,
Guac,
ranch.
I'm a sour cream and guacamole kind of guy.
I am a glutton in this situation. I don't even care. The most glorious combination of all time is to take a quesadilla and dip it in queso.
Yes.
What?
Oh, it's
Yes.
so good.
Go to Qdoba. Chicken
Oh.
quesadilla with their queso.
Oh man,
Amazing.
It's so good.
I feel like that might be pushing the limits on cheese though.
no.
You can't.
What does that even mean? Pushing the limits, like flavor wise.
I don't know. Dude,
Get a new palate,
dude, the
you
cool-
little boy.
The coolness of the sour cream and the guacamole just complement the warmness of the cheese and the steak or chicken or whatever
I
it
just
is.
need need sauce, and I want the thing I'm eating to be in sauce form. And so I'm just dipping my solid into its own liquid.
Let me ask you this, Kevin. When you go to a
think I just
Mexican
won you.
restaurant, when you go to a Mexican restaurant that has like free queso,
Mm-hmm.
how many bowls of that free queso do you eat?
He's like, oh, I've never been to a restaurant.
But
I was about to say,
Like,
after
what
asking
makes
it,
sandwiches
I mean,
at
obviously it
home?
depends on the size of the bowl, but like probably one max.
oof,
Okay, have
like-
you been
they're
to a
about-
free queso restaurant?
like that big?
Have you been to Abuelos, Cholinos, one of
Yeah.
those places where they
yeah.
I've not
legitimately, when they bring you like, oh, chips and salsa, they bring little things of queso as well.
Yeah. Okay. So you're talking pretty small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I being honest, like on average, because you got to remember I'm eating with Alyssa too, so she's got like 2 chips and is full.
Irrelevant.
I would still go through. I'd probably go through one thing of queso.
These are like little ramekins, like the yay big, like the salsa size.
Yeah. Well, I'm also
Okay,
eating-
your opinion
I'm
is
no.
gone.
I'm also eating guac though and salsa. Like I'm
Oh,
not
I'm still
just,
eating the salsa.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, same.
You guys are gluttons. I'm changing my vote to tacos. I don't know if I can be part of this group.
No,
Like 3 minimum.
Yeah, easy.
3
Oh yeah, for sure.
on top of salsa and guac.
Yeah.
How many things of chips?
I will maybe go through one thing of guac. Maybe I maybe have like 3 things of guac, but it's like 3 bites of guac. But like I'm for sure going the queso, and it's like it's no more than like we're not getting 7 like baskets of chips. Like it's just like I'm directing most of my chip currency to cheese deposits.
See, I think I'm going through the same amount of guac and salsa as I am queso.
So yeah, you're just not a big queso guy.
I love queso, but like too,
Doesn't sound
too
like it.
much is. I'm
Does it hurt your belly?
if I eat too much, if I eat
So
3
this
of
is
them.
where we're factoring
So I mean,
this in.
I'm imagining you guys with a chip, like with literally like a whole layer of queso on one chip.
You have to factor out your weak peasant belly that would have died.
Genetic inferior.
Yeah, you would have died in the 1800s by now.
What is that? What's that meme that's just like the stomach of like an 18th century
Yeah,
girl
like-
versus Taco Bell?
Yeah, versus like one Doritos Locos Taco or something like that. Or it was like I saw one time somebody like had a picture. It was like a picture of a Dorito, and it was like, "This is enough like spicy nacho like seasoning to kill a 1300s peasant or something like that." But the thing is if you factor out, like let's just say like your belly didn't get the tum rums from too much cheese. If we're factoring that out, how much would you want to enjoy?
I legitimately like so. Back when my diet was probably more similar to your guys's.
Listen to that condescending comment. Wow.
Yeah, how many miles you ride last week?
Yeah.
How am
I
I
gotta
supposed?
feel those rides somehow.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to say that? Back when I used
You
to,
don't have to compare it to us.
yeah, I used to eat like an asshole like you guys.
Yeah, that's what you were saying without saying it. You know it. You work with those 2 ladies, don't you?
Dude, I feel like too like there is maybe I'm in the minority here, but I feel like too much cheese and I don't know, it just starts to not taste as good. So like a good split, like if they give me queso, guac, and salsa, which I think that's what they do at Uncle Julio's, right? You don't know.
That's not a free queso, so
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
have
go
enough
there.
money to go to there. I don't think he understands what we're talking about. I really don't.
When was the last time you went somewhere that offered you free queso?
Like just literally, they bring it to the table without you asking. You don't order it.
It
It's
comes
just
with
part
your
of it.
water.
Okay, so like pretty much all cheat meals. Honestly, we don't really go to restaurants anymore. If we
Not Mexican food.
Alyssa doesn't
she's
like
not.
Mexican food.
I love Mexican food. So-
Mexican food's my favorite.
So
food.
hands
down.
I would say that's potentially my favorite as well.
Yeah.
Depends what I'm in the mood for. But we almost always get stuff like do carry out and eat at home.
So this is different than like when you go get like white queso and it comes in like a big bowl and you like get all. It's not that. It's like it's definitely like its little brother version of this, where it's like
how big, like compared to this whiskey glass here.
I don't know, half that
Say
size.
the size of the bowl is circumference-wise the same, but probably like a third.
Yeah, and it tapers in typically.
Okay. If you gave me one of those, again, look, I might get on to my second one, but I think like one, like, I would still want to be. I would still be hungry.
It's probably 3-4 ounces of queso.
I still want to I want to enjoy guac. I want to enjoy salsa, and I
This
want
is
to
also
enjoy the
not
food.
thick. It's not a very thick thing.
Oh, so you guys are eating inferior queso.
It's free. Like they literally bring it to the table. It's different than like when you like I know like you're thinking of like it's one of those weird differences between Oklahoma City and like everywhere else. When somebody first told me that like I had somebody who like they were like, yeah, when you go to a Mexican restaurant there, they give you free queso, and I'm like, huh? Like, what in the world are you talking about? And then we had somebody, we were out of town one time and we went to a Mexican restaurant, and I think it was Laurel's sister. Like, we sat down and was like, and she was like, are you guys going to bring queso? And they're like, oh, well, you didn't order any. And she's like, do I have to? And they were very confused by the whole. And I'm like, oh, hey, by the way, that's totally just an Oklahoma City thing. And she's like, what? I mean, they've lived here their whole lives. So it's like, if that's how every Mexican restaurant you've ever been to, it is the same as them bringing chips and salsa. Like, it is no different, right? So it is it's definitely a different deal.
More of a, okay, so much thinner queso.
Yeah, it's like a chicken stock based thing. Like,
Yeah.
but that's a little different. And it's not that great. Don't get me wrong. It's not my favorite thing in the world. It's not like a bowl of white queso that's like they put some time and effort in. They're not giving it away for free kind of thing.
Right. No, even in that scenario, I'd probably still like only do like one. Because if it's not that great, like I'd rather like be more hungry for like my meal that I ordered.
There is a
never had
little
that
Mexican
problem.
restaurant right by Scissortail, just saying.
Mexican restaurant right by Scissortail.
You
They
talking
give
about
out free-
Lazy Donkey?
Yeah.
Oh, Lazy Donkey's bomb. We eat Lazy Donkey.
Here we go
a
on
decent
donkeys
amount.
again.
It's good. They have really good stuff. They I like Big Truck Tacos more than I like Lazy Donkey, but it's Lazy Donkey is very good.
I was just saying for like maybe like October or not October, end of the month.
Oh.
I'm up for that.
They got full bar and everything.
It'll be.
They do. The food is good. Their nachos are bomb.
I mean, our go-to is usually Social Capital, which is always awesome. But I mean, I'm down. I mean, it's going to be your birthday weekend, so you kind of get to pick.
Question. This is an important one too for me to understand if we're still going to be best friends.
Probably. I can probably tell you right now. I don't know what the question is, but probably not.
We're doomed. So, nachos. I hesitate to even want to know the answer here.
I only ask the questions you want the answer to.
I know I'm going to do it. Okay.
I don't know.
Do you like melted like shredded cheese on your nachos? You know when they like melt the hard cheese, or do you want like liquid cheese, like a queso, on your nachos? You know what I'm saying? You understand the difference I'm talking about?
If I'm like so I'll give you a weird scenario because I know you can probably
Perfect. Exactly what I wanted.
You can use you're usually if they got one or the other, right? I would be up for a little bit of both. I like a little melty, little regular cheese. I would enjoy either though.
Yeah, but you got to pick one. Like it's your last plate of nachos on Earth. So last time you're going to have it. Do you want like
Melted shredded cheese or queso?
Yeah, like a Velveeta, like queso, or like it doesn't have to be that, but you get what I'm saying, or like white queso,
Right.
Or like they just literally took shredded cheese, put it on there, put it under a broiler, and like melted it.
I would probably go queso.
That was a close one.
I'm going melted cheese.
Really?
My problem with queso on top of those chips is by the time I get to the end of it, all the chips are starting to get soggy.
I don't care about that at all. I would much
I don't
rather.
mind soggy
I want a
chips.
nice
I don't
crunch
mind
with my
soggy.
nacho.
Nah, I don't care about
mind.
that.
I don't mind. I like a soggy chip.
Yeah, I don't mind a soggy chip because I need there needs to be some kind of like the problem with that is it's just lacking moisture. Like there's no wetness. Like I need something wet in there.
Here's the
It's
thing.
dry. The whole thing's dry.
A lot of it
then.
a lot of times I'll put sauce on top of it though, and that
Yeah, I get that, but it's not the same.
So if you have like, I like nachos with shredded cheese. I only want it a little bit melted though, because if it's like all the way melted and it's just like
You
all
like pick up like the whole thing's just turn into one thing.
Yeah, you can mess up shredded melted cheese, but you can't mess up queso. But it can't shredded cheese, like melted shredded cheese, if with the other the other
I'm with
proper
you on
ingredients. I think you can do it right though.
I'm with you. I like a little bit of both is great. Like don't get me wrong, but like the all dry nacho, I just can't do that.
See, I don't think they're all dry because a lot of times if I'm doing nachos, it's coming with like refried beans on it as well.
Sure,
That adds
options.
That adds a little bit of moisture with that. And I want the crunch for the chip. I don't want
It's just
a mush of.
Not enough for me.
Yeah, I don't mind a mushy chip at all.
Nah, that doesn't
Like if I'm
bother
going
me.
to Qdoba and getting their nachos, I'm getting the chips on the side and I'm dipping it in and making it more of like a
chips and queso kind of deal.
chips and dip type thing.
No, just put it on there. I don't care. I'm just like, dude.
Queso's a safe option in my opinion.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think I just love queso, but like a quesadilla dipped in queso is a masterful combination.
I could do like I could see myself maybe doing like a couple like if I got a quesadilla and I got my sour cream, my guac, and I got some queso for some chips, I'd do a couple dips in there.
Yeah, now
But
we're talking.
I don't think I'd eat a whole quesadilla with queso.
I would, and boy, is it like I worked at Taco Bueno for a little bit when I was in high school. Fun fact, I think this is super illegal to like in retrospect, which is funny. But Taco Bueno fired me, or I guess I kind of quit because I no-showed. And I wasn't going to go back after this anyway. But they scheduled me during the day while I was a high school student. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure like that's super illegal.
Yeah.
Like they knew I was in high school. And they were like, Tuesday at noon, you work. And I'm like,
Did you ask about it at all?
I don't remember.
You just didn't show up.
I think it was like the schedule came out Monday, and I didn't ever work until like Tuesday evening. So it's like they weren't digital copies of the schedule back then. It was just posted in there. And so it's like I showed up Tuesday evening for what would normally be my shift time. And they were like, why are you here now? Like, you no-showed earlier. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And they're like, you were supposed to be here at noon. And I'm like, I am in high school.
Jeez.
And they're like, well, you were supposed to be here at noon. Like, you should have said something. And I'm like, why should I have to say like, you know, I'm in high school. Why should I have to say something about that?
Right.
And they were like, I hated that job anyway. But, anywho, I used to make a quesadilla that had like chicken, shredded cheese, like melted for quesadilla, refried beans, and then I would dip that in queso. Boy, was that a brick in my stomach, but man, was it good. I'm glad the podcast about Ryan turned into being about Mexican food.
Naturally.
Yeah, it feels appropriate.
I was going to say, if it was going to happen with anybody, it'd be with Ryan on the podcast, I think.
When was the last time you ate Mexican food?
Too long, I think.
Alyssa, you haven't gotten any Mexican food cravings? Alyssa, what is the weirdest craving you've gotten since being pregnant? Nothing weird?
I've really gotten craving.
She said no.
She eats a lot of Eggo waffles.
Ooh.
Those are-
Craving, though, it's just something I...
Yeah, something that's easy to, and like doesn't make you feel weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
9 hours ago for me.
Yeah.
I guess I do a lot of Chipotle, but I know that's probably not what you're asking.
That counts.
When was the last time you had Chipotle?
Yeah, I want to hear what a lot means.
I had Chipotle last Tuesday.
Time before that.
Time before that, maybe a couple of weeks.
Wow.
Yeah, Chipotle's a go-to.
Wow.
Again,
I'm impressed.
I am usually doing it on a Wednesday or a Saturday. As
We don't need to hear about it.
I won't get into it. Leave it at that.
We don't need to hear about it. We are edging on 2 hours, though, which is crazy, as usual.
Yeesh.
Any other Mexican food? What's your favorite Mexican food restaurant?
I like Uncle Julio's.
I don't think I've ever had Uncle Julio's.
That's my favorite.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Go there every year for birthday, so.
Maybe I should check that out.
Their
We,
white queso is
Really? Have you had the white queso at Lazy Donkey?
Yep.
Delicious. Their nachos are bomb. Their nachos are very good.
I would say in terms of white queso, for me, it's Uncle Julio's. Then you got Iguana, and then Lazy Donkey.
Nice. Lazy Donkey is a good call for company. We could have a blast there.
It's your birthday weekend, so I'm down.
I mean, I'm down, but I feel like you get more people to come if it's not Lazy Donkey.
They just don't know what's good for them. We get. I'm pretty excited because Laurel's work is taking us to dinner tomorrow. It ain't no Uncle Julio's because they're taking us to Mahogany tomorrow, so I'm pretty excited about that. I'm pretty stoked. And then UConn won the little contest that we had amongst the stores, and so we'll get to buy lunch for everybody. And I think we decided we haven't fully decided what we want to get for food. We were thinking maybe barbecue for this coming Thursday. So
You guys order in Mahogany.
no, I was very clear because they were like, let's get Chick-fil-A. I'm like, how we always get Chick-fil-A? Like, I love Chick-fil-A, but Chick-fil-A is just like what we get every individual store meal. Like, we get it a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let's do something different. I'm like, let's do barbecue. And then I was like, if we get barbecue, okay, like there's going to be a strict limit of like what you can order. Like, you can't ask for
half rack of ribs.
Yeah, like 8 pounds of like brisket. Like, it's going to be like you can get, anything under $10 or something. Like just will be reasonable, But I was like, I immediately had to be like, think to myself like, okay, great. Like if we're gonna have to chill, like.
I have recently learned that I've learned that employees do prefer pizza parties over pay raises. So,
Yeah, right.
which is why UConn's getting a lunch.
Woo! Yeah.
How does the warehouse get in on that?
They don't.
I enjoy pizza parties.
You got a ping pong table. Shut up.
We'll find a way. We got to start making sales out of here.
You want to come eat barbecue with us?
Sure.
Yeah, we'll put it on the card. Well, it's been 2 hours. This has been fun. This has been a good episode.
It's been a fun year.
Yeah, it's been a crazy year. It's just wild to look back on. Between now and the next episode, Ryan, I challenge you to go back and watch every episode. Just all 52 hours of content that we've made just for funsies,
Yeah.
You excited? You gonna do that?
No.
No. Okay. Kevin?
I'm in.
All right. Kevin and Alyssa will do it. Yeah? You in? She gave me a thumbs up. I think you guys are doing it. You're ordering Mexican food in with the places with the free queso, and you're gonna watch it all.
We're gonna binge watch some type of TV show. What should we watch?
I don't know. Have
been
you guys ever
watching
seen
SWAT.
Bob's Burgers before?
A couple episodes. For those that don't know, that is what we put on the background, like put on at home, and we've watched like every season probably a dozen times through.
Yeah.
We probably are behind Preston though, because Preston keeps Bob's Burgers running at the Norman store constantly.
He's had it going the whole time. He had it going for the last year plus that I was there. So it's like he's got almost like 2+ years of Bob's Burgers on the whole time.
That's yeah.
What an interesting. Anytime you walk into the Norman store, Bob's Burgers is on.
Yep.
Then he gets mad when you put music on.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of music on in the store either, though. I think he kind of got that from me because I would never play music in Norman. I finally just started, while I'm on shift, letting music play in the UConn store as long as it's music that doesn't have words.
I like telling the employees that you work with, like when they talk about that, I'm like, oh yeah, Thomas hates music, like
Yeah.
altogether.
Yeah,
like,
I do.
What
I
really?
hate music. No.
I'm just not a fan.
No, it's like there's you know what? I'm going to get on my pedestal here, okay? There is a misunderstanding about the TVs, right? And that is that the TVs are there for the customers to have something else to like engage in or look at, or maybe they've got somebody with them, and it gives them something to do without feeling awkward. They can kind of just chill and watch, whatever on TV or whatever. It kind of gives them like noise or something to talk about or whatever. So I hate it when the TVs aren't on because then it's like weird. But Will has terrible taste in music, so it's like you walk in and it's just like reggae that Will's like, when I walk down the street, and you're just like, golly, this is awful. But it is the combination of that and then the TV's being on, then plus trying to have a conversation. It's just too many words going on. And so sports on the TV, music without words, like without lyrics, and we're good. I can get with that.
I like TVs on a very low volume. Like you got to be really close to hear what's going on, but you can kind of see it what's going on. And then music lightly, like slightly higher volume than TVs, so you can hear that through the store.
The problem is that people.
There is no problem there.
Yeah, no, the problem is that people
Ryan's on my side.
No, I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying the problem that happens is people on staff play it as if they are just listening to music, not as if it is supposed to be background noise to the store.
Yeah.
And so there's like 9 times out of 10, I will have to turn the music down than I have ever had to turn it up. And so it's like there's a limit to like how loud the music should be. Like it should be something where it's like you can tell there's music, you can hear what the lyrics are, but I'm not talking over it.
But I can still have a conversation.
Right, exactly.
And tune it out completely.
Right.
Yeah.
And especially when it's that trash music, it's even tougher.
Real quick, I know we need to finish up, but I remember when, because obviously most people when they start in the store are typically a little bit more quiet. You know, they're building your confidence, or a little nervous about taking customers, or they're quiet. And sometimes like they're literally so quiet, like they'll be up front with a customer and you can't even hear them. And you're like, are they up there right now? And I remember the day that Alfonso gained his confidence because he just got so loud, and I am talking to a customer and Alfonso is behind me talking to another customer facing my direction, and he got so loud I couldn't even hear myself talk. And I turned around, I'm like, Alfonso, shut up.
And then he quit.
Yep.
That's what happened. That's how I remember it. That's how he tells the story.
Yep.
All right. It's time to wrap this up. Ryan, super thankful for everything that you do, not just for the company, but specifically for the podcast, for sure. We couldn't do without you. All the innovation and the new things that kind of come, whether it's, how it looks or the openings or, like different ideas that come up, you're always bringing good stuff, and we always appreciate that.
Always improving.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, and I think the rest of the stuff with like the company side of things is pretty obvious, but just appreciate you being a trooper. And like, I'm sure there's times that like coming and listening to Kevin and I blab for 2+ hours isn't like the highest on the list of things that you want to be doing. But you still show up like a trooper every other week and come and do it with us. And so I really appreciate it, because again, like this is something that we definitely couldn't do without you. And so it just means a lot that, you've been so willing to do all that. So I know I personally appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely, man. It wouldn't be possible. It would not look nearly this nice if Thomas and I were trying to do it on our own. I don't think we'd be able to be consistent with it. You help us actually make us look professional. And yeah, I can understand where it would be. It could be a little bit more specific work for you, where him and I just get to sit down, talk, and drink. But that's because you produce the whole thing. So,
right.
Yeah, very much appreciated, man. I'm glad you've been along for the ride for the whole year.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
It's been fun.
Also, want to give a special shout out to this lovely lady over here, Alyssa, who just had to listen to 2 hours of all 3 of us blab, and I don't think she hated it as much as she thought she would have.
She's got her phone in her work.
Yeah, she's like, it's all right. But seriously, thank you, Alyssa, for making this possible, because we needed somebody to come and do this. And so know that you always have stuff to do, and appreciate you taking the time to come and help out. It means a lot to us. But yeah, that is our 1-year episode.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Anything else to say, Ryan?
Nope.
Nope.
You want both microphones?
I'm okay.
This is... you said more this episode than you've said every other episode combined.
True.
That checks out.
Yeah.
Sure.
I checked. I pulled the analytics on it. So, all right. That's episode 26.
1 year. Thanks for watching, guys.
Bye-bye.